So is there a proper way to greet one another in your home country?
Yes, a way aside from just handshakes, if you're meeting someone that's more like elder than you or don't know too well, is you kind of kiss someone on both cheeks. It's usually like a social gathering, so that's the most common.
Cool. How does personal space work in your country?
Personal space, it's it's not like too strict. People are very like affectionate and like physical, not like or like physical with each other. They give a lot of hugs, and you don't necessarily need to know someone like too well to kind of kiss them on both cheeks as a sign of being friendly. So in regards to just overall personal space, I would say it's really lenient.
Okay. And so in Lebanon, what are some values or customs that are very valuable to you and your culture that may not be very valuable to our culture here in the U.S.?
Um, I would say maybe not necessarily like not. There's like certain values that I would say are more emphasized in my culture. I would just say it's um, not necessarily like the reliance, but just on your smaller like family like circle, just being with them at all times. So yeah.
And what's a quick example of how my culture is offensive to your culture?
I don't think there's a specific way. I would just say that maybe like the misunderstanding sometimes like the politics could be, but other than that, I'm appreciative of how Americans view us.
Awesome. Thank you,
Yeah,
Cam.
of course. Got you.
Howdy. Is there a proper way to greet one another in Colombia? A handshake, a hug, or kiss? Or does it vary between genders and elders?
Yeah, so usually with friends, as it is, girls especially, it's different here. Over there, it's very normal to just give them a kiss on the cheek and a hug. With guys, though, you usually, if you are close, just give them a hug or a handshake is fine.
So, how does personal space work in your culture?
Mm, I believe we are a little more close, even with the strangers, and can be more touchy just in culture than what you consider touchy here. And that's perfectly fine and not weird.
What are some values or customs that are very valuable in your culture that have to do with like in every aspect, within every aspect of your life, like within your culture?
I think the main thing is just the idea of the like Hispanic family unity and tradition, and how much longer families tend to the kids tend to stay together with their parents in Hispanic cultures. There's something that definitely happens in Colombia, and it's not very common here.
And then, how is our culture offensive to the Colombian culture?
Uh, I don't think there's particular aspects that are offensive. It's just whenever people are close-minded and tend to mistake Colombia, its own country, for just Mexicans in general, or they undervalue our traditions just because they're different.
Thank you, Juan. What is the proper way to greet one another in your culture? Is it a handshake, a hug, a kiss, or does it vary between the interactions between genders and elders?
I think it definitely varies between genders and just different age groups. I think when someone's family, it's normally hugs and kisses, but when it comes to just strangers, I think a bow or a handshake is a more formal way of doing it. Um, yeah.
Cool. How does personal space work in your culture?
At least in China, I don't think personal space is kind of a thing because there's so many people. At least where I'm from, city-wise, they don't really respect personal space. Like we're in the subway, everyone's just super crowded. They're just trying to do what they're trying to do. They don't really have that like respect for privacy or personal space kind of deal. So you're kind of congested all the time. At least in the city life.
And last but not least, are there any values and or customs that are very valuable and important within every aspect of one's life in your culture? Some examples could be family, friendship, friends that are brought into the workplace. What are some things about that?
Yeah, I think at least the Chinese culture they really value family. A lot of families, like including my mom and my grandparents, they live in the same house. It's kind of funny. So we have like 3 stories, and my grandparents would be in the 3rd floor, and then the mom and dad would be in the 2nd floor, and then the kids would be in the 1st floor. Very like close knit community. When you marry into the families. They really care a lot about like saving face, and they value like a lot about honor and all that stuff.
Awesome. Thank you, Ray.
Rob, thank you.